We ask the Supreme Court to reaffirm the limits imposed by the Constitution in the exercise of impeachment powers, the limits that exist not only to protect any individual but to preserve the rule of law itself. We have come before you today not claiming certainty in all things, but firm in one conviction that constitutional processes must remain faithful to constitutional design. When procedure becomes unclear, when safeguards appear to be tested, and when power risks outpacing restraint, it becomes the duty of the lawyers and indeed of the citizens to speak. This is definitely not about politics, but this is about upholding the Constitution. Our intervention is anchored on a simple but fundamental premise. When Constitution is not neutrality, it is acquiescence. And as officers of the court, we cannot acquiesce when the processes designed to protect accountability risk being conducted in a manner that may itself depart from constitutional limits. The purpose of today's press conference is threefold. First, to inform the public through you of the legal basis of our intervention and the reason why we filed it. Second, to clarify that our motion for leave is not an intrusion but a necessary procedural step. We are not the original parties to the case, but we seek to assist the court by presenting who have not been fully addressed yet are crucial to the proper resolution of the controversy. And third, to underscore that this petition and intervention is ultimately an appeal to protect the Constitution. We ask the Supreme Court to reaffirm the limits imposed by the Constitution in the exercise of impeachment powers, the limits that exist not only to protect any individual but to preserve the rule of law itself. We have come before you today not claiming certainty in all things, but firm in one conviction that constitutional processes must remain faithful to constitutional design. When procedure becomes unclear, when safeguards appear to be tested, and when power risks outpacing restraint, it becomes the duty of the lawyers and indeed of the citizens to speak. Through this intervention, we place our trust to the Honorable Supreme Court guidance and ultimately to ensure that the rule of law prevails. To proceed, let me introduce to you the members of the panel who are among the petitioners in the intervention and the supporters of the intervention as well. My name is Jeril C. Rondas Layog. I am joined by Attorney Maher E. Senti, also Dato Nasif Malawani Al-Haj from the Muslim Alliance Protect Sara Maps. We also have former Mayor of Lanao del Sur, Ali M. Abdul Salam. We also have Mr. Alan Maulani from One Bangsa. We also have Dr. Ronald Adama, the former Commissioner of CHED, a former congressman during the 10th Congress, now representing as the chairman for the Volunteers for Inday for President of Sustainable Development. We also have Mr. Edizer Lumtan, Secretary General of One Bangsa. Also from the Muslim Alliance, Mr. Omar Abdul Aziz, sorry. All right. So thank you, and we will now proceed to the opening statements. First, we have Dr. Adamat.
Greetings of peace and good morning to everyone. First, I would like to introduce further myself. I am Dr. Ronald Adamat, former CHED Commissioner, former Congressman of the 10th Congress of the Philippines, and Chairman of the BIPSD, volunteers for Inday for President for Sustainable Development, and co-convener of the DDS Saraol Confederation. We, the intervenors in the Supreme Court case, GR President Sara Duterte, addressed the grave concerns regarding the actions of the House of Representatives Committee on Justice in the impeachment case against Vice President Sara Duterte. We believe the committee has overstepped bounds, abused its discretionary and violated the Constitution. Specifically, we take issue with, number one, the committee's mini trial, which usurps the Senate's role as the sole impeachment court in the guise of conducting hearings. Number two, issuing subpoenas for evidence not attached to the complaint, amounting to a fishing expedition, effectively aiding and siding with the complainants. Number three, denying Vice President Duterte equal protection under the law, as seen in the differing treatment of the impeachment case against President Marcos Jr. Number four, violating due process, undermining the separation of powers. This is not just procedural issues. It's a blatant attempt to undermine Vice President Duterte's credibility and block her path to 2028. Notice how the committee ignores President Marcos Jr.'s 4 billion pesos plus confidential funds a year and zeroes in on BP Sara's 125 million confidential funds, which COA already cleared. This selective justice exposes the committee's true intent: political persecution, not accountability. We then urge the Supreme Court to sit through this charade and uphold the Constitution. The people deserve accountability, not politically motivated witch hunts just to pin down Vice President Sara Duterte. Thank you very much.
For the second statement, let me now call on our Secretary General of the One Bangsa. We have Mr. Edizer Lumtan.
Thank you. Daghang salamat, Attorney. Sa lahat po ng nandito at sa mga kasama na ubas and entrepreneurs, magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. And on behalf of our President and Chairman of the One Bangsamoro Movement with us here, Mr. Alan Maulana Alan Balani, I am here to present, at least read to you kung ano po ang dahilan ng pag-intervene ng mga officers ng One Bangsamoro Movement. The statement goes, April 10, 2026, One Bangsamoro Movement or One Bangsa. Interveners urge Supreme Court to hold constitutionally confirmed impeachment proceedings against Vice President Sara Duterte. The other side, movements, interveners, officers, members, and professionals associated with the One Bangsamoro Movement, together with young lawyers and citizens from Mindanao and beyond, respectfully announce that we have filed before the Supreme Court a motion for leave of court to intervene and to admit the attached petition and intervention in the pending impeachment-related cases involving the proceedings against Vice President Sara Z. Duterte, docketed GR number E05546, Tonyon et al., and of course, the Vice President's petition E05667. We make one point clear at the outset. We are intervening in our individual capacities as Filipino citizens and taxpayers, and our participation is personal, civic, and constitutional. We intervene because, to us, this case is no longer about one public official alone. As our petition and intervention states, it has become a constitutional controversy over the limits of the impeachment power, the integrity of the House's threshold review, the requirement of informed House participation before the referral, the validity of the committee's ruling on sufficiency, the impermissible use of subpoenas as a fishing expedition, and the duty of the Supreme Court to arrest grave abuse before a constitutionally defective process hardens into precedent. We believe in our intervention is proper under Rule 19 of the Rules of Court because we have a direct legal interest in the matter of litigation, in the success of the principal petition, and in preventing a precedent that would dilute the constitutional safeguards governing impeachment. As citizens and taxpayers, we are directly affected with constitutional process altered, selectively applied, or transformed into instruments of arbitrary government actions. As lawyers, professionals, and many of us also come before the court with a personal stake in the preservation of constitutional structure, due process, and the rule of law. Our intervention is not intended to delay the case. It is intended to assist the court. We support the principal petition and adopt its core constitutional challenge. But we also present an additional and distinct public interest perspective that the challenge proceedings of the House Committee on Justice, particularly its handling and referral of the complaints, its ruling on sufficiency in form, substance, and grounds, and in the subsequent approval of the broad subpoenas, threatened to convert the constitutional power to impeach into an open-ended instrument of selective investigation and political harassment. In our petition and intervention, we ask the Honorable Court to resolve issues that go to the heart of constitutional order. We ask whether the House Committee on Justice committed grave abuse of discretion in handling the referral of the 2026 impeachment complaints, including compliance with the constitutionally mandated first mode sequence, timelines, and the requirement that House members be meaningfully informed before referral. We ask whether the committee gravely abused its discretion in declaring the Sabalia and Cabrera complaints sufficient in form and substance, despite what we submit are fatal defects in its endorsements, serial filing, and insufficiency of their pleaded ultimate facts and attachments. We also ask the committee greatly abuse its discretion in declaring those complaints sufficient in grounds on 18 March 2026, despite the absence, in our view, of sufficiency, clear and convincing evidence in the pleadings and relevant documents then on record. Relatedly, we ask whether the committee thereafter acted arbitrarily in moving to hearing proper and approving compulsory process in order to search for proof that the complaints and their supporting materials should already have contained. A central part of our intervention concerns the subpoena proceedings of March 25, 2026. We have specifically raised the issue of whether those proceedings and the subpoenas issued pursuant to them constitute an impermissible fishing expedition designed to cure the facial infirmities of the complaints rather than examine evidence supporting adequately pleaded and already sufficient charges. That issue is not incidental in our petition. It is one of our principal constitutional objections. We have likewise placed before the court the issue of selective and arbitrary treatment. In our petition, we ask whether the committee's treatment of the Duterte's complaint, as compared with other impeachment complaints, dismissed for lack of ultimate facts and nexus, including the impeachment complaints previously filed against President Marcos Jr., violates the requirement of uniform application of constitutional standards, the rule of law, and the guarantee against arbitrary government action. We further ask the court to consider whether the public statement of a committee leader that we have the numbers is itself evidence of prejudgment, partially and reduction of a constitutional gatekeeping process into political arithmetic. To us, that question is not rhetorical. It goes directly to whether the committee remained constitutional gatekeeper or had already become a political facilitator of a predetermined result. We filed because we believe these are not abstract political disagreements. They are live constitutional questions involving Article 11, the Due Process Clause, and the Supreme Court's expanded power of judicial review under Article 8, Section 1. Our position, as reflected in our petition, is simple. Impeachment is not above the Constitution, and the House's exclusive power to initiate impeachment is a power bounded by constitutional sequence, constitutional evidence, constitutional fairness, and constitutional restraint. Coming as we do from Mindanao, from the Bangsamoro, and from the communities where public confidence is constitutional order and equal treatment matters deeply, we believe our voice has singular value. We know from live experience that when constitutional processes are bent, we know from the life experience and when constitutional processes are bent from expediency, selective judgment, or unbound coercive power, the injury is not limited to the respondent or one case. It weakens public trust in institutions themselves. That is why we intervene. We therefore respectfully ask the public to see this filing for what it is, not a partisan maneuver, but a lawful invocation of a procedural remedy so that the Supreme Court may resolve grave constitutional questions with the fullest legal illumination possible. After all, the Constitution must govern impeachment, not the other way around. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you very much, Mr. Edison Lumbang. Thank you also, Dr. Adamat. All right, so in addition to the statements presented before you, I'd like to highlight that as young lawyers, as officers of the court, our duty is to protect and uphold the Constitution. So in addition, we raise an important question, whether allowing the proceedings before the House Committee on Justice, despite all the defects raised in all the petitions and in the intervention filed yesterday, will it reshape the constitutional architecture of impeachment, weakens its safeguards, and expose both public officials and the public itself to a process that is no longer bound by clear and enforceable limits? This is not about shielding anyone from accountability. This is about ensuring that accountability itself is exercised within the bounds of the Constitution. Because if the Constitution can be set aside in moments of political urgency and public sentiments, then it ceases to be the supreme law and becomes merely optional. That is why we intervened. Definitely not to delay the process, but to ensure that the process remains constitutional. Thank you very much, and we are now welcoming any questions from the media and from the Zoom as well. Thank you. All right, but before that, let us have Mr. Alan Baolani from One Bangsa.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Isang pagbati ng kapayapaan, isang mapagpalayang umaga sa inyong lahat, sa ating lahat dito. Unang-una, nais ko pong pasalamatan yung ating mga kaibigan sa media sa inyong pagdalo. Kanina narinig natin yung official na statement ng One Bangsa sa pamamagitan ng aming Secretary General si Ed Longtan. Siguro nandoon na lahat yung aming mga saloobin at mga hinaing. So bilang Pangulo ng One Bangsa, nais ko lang magdagdag ng hindi naman mahaba, Congressman, Commissioner. Unang-una, para sa amin sa One Bangsa, hindi na bago sa amin itong impeachment na ito. Ang aming paniniwala, ito ay isang political harassment. Ito ay taktika lamang para harangin, pigilan ang isang Sara Duterte na tumakbo sa 2028 dahil nakikita natin lahat, nakikita ng sambayanan na siya ay lalong namamayagpag at habang yung kanyang mga kalaban sa politika ay lalong lumulubog yung kanilang ratings sa mga surveys. Kaya ang paniwala namin, inuulit ko, ito ay isang political harassment na dapat hindi bigyan daan, dapat pigilan at dapat harangin. Kaya kami sa One Bangsa, naririto, malakas na sumusuporta doon sa mga petisyon na inihayong sa Korte Suprema, petisyon nila Atty. Torion, Atty. Vic Rodriguez at kanyang mga kasamahan, lalong-lalo na po, yung idinudulog ni Vice President Sara Duterte sa Korte Suprema na isang petisyon na talagang siya mismo yung humiling sa Korte Suprema na pairalin ng batas, harangin ang anumang tangkang paglapastangan at paglabag sa ating saligang batas. Dahil napakalinaw po sa atin na ang ginagawang proceeding dyan sa House of Representatives sa pamamagitan ng Committee on Justice ay masyado na po itong lumalagpas doon sa kanilang mandato. Sinasabi ng ilang mga kasamahan natin na ito ay isang fishing expedition dahil mukha yatang grave abuses yung kanilang ginagawa at talagang hindi ka panipaniwala dahil saan ka makakakita ng isang House of Representatives na sila pa itong naghahanap ng mga ebidensya para maging basihan at maging, kumbaga, mas mapalakas yung kanilang hangarin na mapatalsik ito si Vice President. Sa amin, sa One Bangsa, pairalin yung batas. Kung kinakailangan, dapat iakyat na nila ito sa Senado Dahil malinaw naman sa ating 1987 Constitution na ang korte, kaisa-isahang korte na maglilitis ng impeachment ay yung Senado, hindi yung Congress. Kung may sapat na bilang sila dyan sa mababang kapulungan ng Kongreso, iakyat na nila ito sa Senado. Nang sa ganon, magkaalaman na kung ano ba talaga ang totoo. Nakakalungkot isipin. Binanggit nga ng aking kapatid dito, si Commissioner, more than 400 billion yung confidential fund ng ating Pangulo. Pero, ang hinahanap, sinasaliksik, ay itong 125 million na kapiranggot lamang. Nakakalungkot isipin na yung issue ng malit-malitang kinulimbat, bilyong kinulimbat sa ating sa kaban ng bayan na para sa taong bayan, ay hanggang ngayon hindi pa rin nagkakaroon na malinaw na investigasyon habang nililibing nito ang kapakanan at kinabukasan ng ating mga anak. Kaya inuulit ko, kami sa One Bangsa, hindi namin mapapayagan, kasama yung mga kalyanong organisasyon, kami ay magbubuklod-buklod, magsasama-sama, sisigaw sa kalsada, makikisa sa iba't ibang grupo upang harangan ang kahalintulad na impeachment trial dyan sa House of Representatives na sa tingin namin ay hindi ka nais-nais, sa tingin namin ay lumalagpas na sa ating saligang batas. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Sir Alan Maulani. Now we have a message from the Muslim Alliance. We have Datu Nasif Malawani Al-Hajj.
In the name of God, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh, which means peace be with you. At magandang umaga po sa mga non-Muslim na nandirito. Before anything else, I would like to introduce myself. I am the president of Green Hills Muslim Business Club. Ako po isang civil engineer. At the same time, ako yung spokesperson ng Muslim Alliance to Protect SARA. Ano po ang Muslim Alliance? Muslim Alliance ay composed of mga businessmen, Green Hills at saka iba't ibang lugar ng not only in Metro Manila, Metro Luzon, pati sa Mindanao, mayroon din po tayo. So kami yung unfortunately, wala dito yung presidente namin, si former Mayor Akhtar Marmar, at saka yung chairman ng Board of Director, former Mayor Moti Mariano. Yung kapatid lang natin, si former Ali Mayor yung nandito, kaya nagpapasalamat ako sa kanya dahil hindi siya nagatubili. Anyway, sino po yung mga Muslim Alliance? Kami po yung unang nanawagan, nagkaraban po kami. Ito ay public knowledge, almost 300 cars na pumunta kami sa ITSA. Dapat harangin kami sa may White Plains, kaya lang dito kami nakapag-iipon, dito sa Annapolis Street. So hindi rin nila nahadlangan, yun ay natuloy, nagbigay kami ng statement sa Senado. Talagang pinaalam namin sa pamahalaan na hindi po namin gustong ma-impeach si Sara Duterte. Dahil alam naman natin yung pamamalakad ng Duterte family ay doon po sila sa tama. Yung Muslim Alliance po, hindi kami nabibiling pera. Ito ay grupo na mayroong paninindigan. May paninindigan doon sa tama. Kaya po hanggang ngayon, mula 2024 hanggang ngayon, tumatayo kami para protektahan ang mahal nating Vice President. Hindi naman namin kaano-ano, pero kami, sinusuportahan namin yung makakabuti sa bayan. Hindi natin alam na Pag hindi maganda yung pamamalakad ng pamahalaan, ay maapektado lalo na yung mga business sector po. Kaya kami naninindigan, kahit anuman ang mangyari, ipaglalaban namin ang Vice Presidente dahil alam naman natin na kung siya talaga ay hindi ma-impeach ay may papagpatuloy niya yung trabaho niya, lalong-lalo na kung siya ang maging presidente sa 2028. Kaya kung sino man ang naninira sa kanya, kung sino man ang may ambisyon na maging presidente, antayin nyo na lang po yung 2028 national election para po magkaalaman. Kami lubos na naniniwala at kami ay pinapanalangin namin yung kapayapaan ng buong bansa. Kaya nandito yung mga kapatid natin sa iba't ibang grupo. Alam naman natin, nakamonitor tayo sa Luzon, yung mga kapatiran natin, mga presidente ng iba't ibang community sa Luzon, itong oras na ito, mga kapatid. Kaya po, narinig na natin yung statement ni former Commissioner Adamant at saka yung Secretary General ng Bangsa. Kami po ay nananawagan din sa Supreme Court na i-affirm yung unang desisyon nila na unconstitutional po yung impeachment. Kaya po, hanggang ngayon, ay talagang yung mga Muslim, sa pagkakalam ko, mga 90% susuportahan po yung Duterte. Mabuhay po kayo mga kapatid, mabuhay ang taong bayan, mabuhay ang lahat. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Dato Alhaj. Now, we will have Attorney Hilary Olga Reserva from Zoom. Let me just present the Attorney Olga. Wait lang po.
Good morning. I am Attorney Hilary Olga Reserva. I am a lawyer of the province of Luzon del Norte. I am also a daughter of a co-petitioner here, which is Attorney James Reserva, and also a member and an officer of the IBP of Luzon del Norte. Now, I believe that my co-petitioners have sufficiently explained the grounds why we filed this petition for intervention. I want to say to you that beyond these legal arguments, I would like to emphasize my personal stake in this matter. I joined this petition in intervention not only as a young lawyer who seeks to uphold the rule of law, but also as a citizen who recognizes that impeachment is, by its nature, both a legal and political process. My motivation is therefore not purely legal, it is also political in the principled sense. I believe that the leaders we elect should not be removed from office through mere political machinations of a majority opposition, absent strict compliance with constitutional standards. The Constitution does not allow impeachment to be used as a tool of convenience or partisan advantage. This is precisely why the parameters set by the Supreme Court in the recent pronouncement in Duterte v. House of Representatives are so crucial. They serve as institutional safeguards not only for the respondent but for the stability of our democratic system. They ensure that the extraordinary power of impeachment is exercised not by sheer numbers but within the discipline of law, evidence, and due process. Without these safeguards, any duly elected official could be exposed to removal based on shifting political alliances rather than established constitutional grounds. That is a dangerous precedent, one that weakens democracy, both democracy choice and institutional integrity. As a young lawyer, my stake is direct and substantial. The legal standards we defend today will define the strength of our institutions tomorrow. If we allow constitutional guardrails to be disregarded, we risk normalizing a system where process is secondary to politics. This petition and intervention is therefore both a legal and civic act. It is my way of asserting that the rule of law must prevail, not only in theory, but in practice. Not only when it's convenient, but especially when it's difficult. Ultimately, this is about preserving a system where accountability is real, but always lawful, where power is checked but never abused, and where the Constitution remains the supreme guide over both law and politics. This is why I intervene. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Attorney Reserva. Now let us hear from one of the supporters and also from Muslim Alliance, the former Mayor of Lanao del Sur, Mr. Ali M. Abdul Salam. Sir?
Sa lahat ng nandito, lalo-lalo na sa mga kapatid nating mga media na nagpapahiwatig sa ating mga hinaing. Ang lahat ng nanonood sa South at saka sa North, sa Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao at sa labas ng Pilipinas. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh sa inyo at sa non-Muslim, magandang umaga po. Ang Muslim Alliance po sa pamumuno ng mga mayors at kaming nandito sa aking kapatid na si Engineer Nasip Malawani at ako po bilang unang mayor ng Lanao del Sur sa Mulundo. Kami po ay nakisali na nananawagan na huwag po maimpis ang ating butiin mahal na Vice Presidente. Dahil sa lahat ng mga tao ay alam na clear siya sa kuha. Bakit natin hindi hayaan na umabot tayo sa 2028? Alam natin ng mga tao na atat na may balik natin ang Duterte dahil alam natin lahat ng kanilang pamumuno. Yun lang, narinig niyo ang aking kapatid na si Engineer Nasip. Sa lahat po ng nandito, sa labas man o sa loob ng Pilipinas, uulitin ko, ang Muslim Alliance po ay may membro sa Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao at sa labas ng Pilipinas. Nananawagan po kami sa Supreme Court na huwag po natin i-impeach ang ating butiin Vice President Sara Duterte. Maraming salamat po.